Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning to wherever you may be. Welcome once again to the Founders Show. It is Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, and we do this every single week. I'm your host, Scott the Steamroller Steen, and as always, we are brought to you by hitthepick.com. Make sure you stop by hitthepick.com. Check out all the great packages we got going over there. Don't go into the football season unarmed. Go into the football season with 5 of the best handicappers you'll find in the world on your side. So it's good to be here. We're going to talk a little baseball. We're going to talk a little NFL. We're going to talk a little college football, man. We got college coming up on the 23rd of August. So it's, 10 days away. We are coming down to it. Let's meet the panel as we always do. We'll go around real quickly here. Making what is this, like 3 in a row? Congratulations, sir. It's the pride of Washington State. It is Loud Esmond. What's up, Loud?
Well, you're speaking of packages, and just remember, some people have more packages than others.
That's a good point, buddy. Thanks very much for starting us off strong. Pride of Houston, Texas, by way of OHIO. It's not even not fair. You just get to move and cheer for different teams, and just add them to your portfolio. Luckily, neither one of them are any good, the Texans or the Browns. So he's in for another long NFL season. It's the one, the only, David Delano. What is up, sir?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good, man. I mean, where I live really has nothing to do too much about who I'm cheering for. I'll have no problem fading the Texans or Browns if in the right situations. It's all about where what plays I'm giving out or where the money is once this football season starts. But
very good. And you are an alma mater of what MAC school again?
Bowling Green.
Bowling Green. That's right. Big. Is this the year they win the MAC, buddy? They going all the way?
No.
I won't go into it too much. I mean, their head coach left to be the quarterback coach of the Eagles, so they've got Eddie George. Came from Tennessee State. He just came over though in April, so they've got a lot of transfers, a lot of turnover. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they go 3-9. I wouldn't be surprised if they go 8-4. It'll be interesting to see, but a lot of change.
Eddie George?
Yeah, Eddie George, Heisman Trophy winner from Ohio State, NFL player. Yeah, he's the head coach now. But just like anything, I mean, I follow the program close, and I mean, they got Drew Pine, former Notre Dame quarterback over there. But I mean, the roster, a lot of changes. So we'll see.
Have you had to increase your alumni donations now that the NIL deals are kicking in? You had to bump that up a little bit?
I don't have a factor in that right now.
Okay. All right, buddy. I'm just checking. And it's the pride of Las Vegas coming to us from his home studio, a.k.a. closet. It's a great space. We love to see it every week. Dude, where do you keep your clothes?
What's funny? I was just going to tell you right now. So literally, they're all, I don't know if you can see, they're all literally hanging right here in the corner of my closet. And I have a bunch folded in my drawers too. Cause I mean, I moved in here and it's kind of like, this was the perfect setup for a little podcast station, but that was the first thing I thought, what am I going to do with all my clothes? So yeah, they're all hanging right here in the corner. And then I kind of got this whole setup right here, but it worked out. Speaking of the week 0, college football action starting. So the very first game is Saturday, August 23rd, and it's Iowa State and Kansas State, and it comes to us from a country close to Loud Esmond's heart.
There it is.
Ireland. Yeah, Iowa State and Kansas State kick off in Ireland, so that should be a lot of fun. You know what, Lou? You should go to one of those games in Ireland. I think they do it every year.
Yeah, I almost went to the last one that Notre Dame played. And it just didn't work out at the last minute. The guy that I was going to go with, his son, who was supposed to go but then wasn't going to be able to, so I was taking his place. 2 days before, got his schedule cleared, and then I didn't get to go. So there is that. But no, that would be a lot of fun.
Heartbreaking, and I'm sure we'll talk more about that one next week. As they K-State and Iowa State take Farmageddon overseas. Should be fun. They're from Dublin, Ireland. Speaking of Dublin, Ireland, I don't even know what that means. Hey, it's the pride of Philadelphia. You know him, you love him. He is a voracious handicapper, handicapping all kinds of sports that you've probably never even thought about betting on: NASCAR, golf, tennis, soccer, not to mention some American stuff as well. Very good at all of them. I'm sure he's on some kind of huge run right now. Let's meet Tom Macrina. What is up, Tom Macrina, Mr. Rycape?
Yeah, I actually am doing WNBA is what I'm doing and well right now. No tennis for me. I don't really, for some reason, every time I try to handicap tennis, it doesn't go well for me. So I just learned to leave that to the side.
Man's got to know his limitations. Very good.
Exactly.
And as happens most weeks, we are joined by a very special guest. This time it is a gentleman by the name of Steve Seagraves. You can find him over there at Sports Memo. We're going to talk a little MLB, maybe even some NFL with Steve. Steve, what's going on, my friend?
Not too much. Happy to join you guys today. And speaking of WNBA runs, I'm on a nice one myself right now, 15-6 right now over at Sports Memo. So
there you go.
All player props with that as well.
Taking the player props with the ladies. Nicely done.
Yes, sir.
The ladies love props. Nicely done, Steve.
Steve,
I know you.
He's coming from Boston, by the way. If you can't tell by the Green Monster sign behind him, saying the Green Monster is about 5 miles that way.
Oh, okay.
Technically Rhode Island, but yeah. I'm a huge Boston, New England sports fan.
He obviously knows what a car is, where the car is, right?
Yeah, pack the car. All right, very good, Steve.
Ruka, I don't want you to give away any premiums, but do you have a play on that can't miss WNBA game tonight between the Sky and the Sun?
Yeah, actually I do. I have Cardoso, I'm sorry, for a double.
Okay.
You can get it at I think it's on -105 now. When Angel Reese isn't out there, she's been scooping up the board, scooping up the points as well. She landed on 10-7 last time out against Connecticut, but they've been giving it up on the glass to bigs, giving up points to bigs as well. And in that game, when she landed on 10-7, Reese put up, I think it was, I don't have it in front of me right now, but 13-11 or something like that. So when Angel Reese has been off the court, Cardoso has been a great play for a double, especially at short money like that.
Okay.
Very good. There you go. That's free information right there. And I know everybody has to be super excited because tomorrow, you know what happens tomorrow? The franchise drops. The story of the Kansas City Chiefs. Six-part documentary on ESPN. So make sure you guys check that out. Loud, I know you'll be watching. You'll be recording every one of those and watching them over and over, won't you?
No.
Okay. Good chat. They were going to make the Derek Carr story, but they couldn't stretch it out longer than 3 or 4 minutes, so they just kind of shelved that franchise. So
gratuitous.
All right, very good. Hey, Steve, I know you're a big baseball guy. A lot of stuff going on right now. Some of those division leads are starting to get stretched out, including in the AL East and the NL East. How do you see? Put on your goggles and your crystal ball and tell us who's for real and who isn't right now, my friend.
Well, I hate to be a homer, but I've been on my Red Sox since the beginning. I got a steak dinner bet with my buddy Joe D'Amico on them finishing ahead of the Yankees. So I'm happy about the recent success they've had. At the beginning of the year, I was on them and the Phillies. I like the Phillies pitching and nice addition to their bullpen as well. So I'm going to stick with it. Red Sox, Phillies. I know and it's not me being a homer either. I like what this Red Sox team has done recently. When they traded Devers, it seemed like we were going to be in trouble, but they've really come to life with this young crew, and I like the pitching heading into the postseason as well.
All right, very good. Yeah, and they're currently a game and a half up on the Yankees with I don't know where we at here, about 40 games left, 41 games, something in that neighborhood. So
yeah,
you can't quite taste that steak yet. But
yeah, Judge is back now too, so it's gonna be interesting down the stretch. I hope the Red Sox can catch up to the Jays and maybe take that division. But like I said, I like in the NL. I like the Phillies. I've liked them all year, and like I said, when it comes to postseason time, and they're lining up Wheeler, Sanchez, some of those other arms, Suarez that they have over there. It's gonna be tough in the postseason in NL.
Yeah, that's a pretty good 3-pack right there to get you started. Wheeler, Sanchez, and Ranger Suarez for sure. So, hey Wes, I woke up this morning and I saw your Dodgers were tied with the Padres. What's going on there, buddy?
Yeah, they've been slipping, man. They haven't not been playing well at all. Obviously, every single year we get bit by the injury bug. It happened again this year too. We are currently, we're tied with the Padres right now. I think they'll turn it around sooner or later. They're just too much talent not to turn it around. But you know what? I'm sitting here staring at covers, and what's crazy is just the money percentages. I know we've kind of talked about how the Rockies were the worst money-burning team in baseball. They actually came back and beat the Cardinals today. But they have been surpassed. The Rockies are no longer – well, they are the worst team in baseball, but as far as money goes, so for $100 bettors, the Braves have actually surpassed them. The Braves are minus 32.03 to the bad. The Rockies are minus 3094. But how about some teams that print money? I'll tell you who prints money. The Blue Jays print money. The Tigers, actually, the Tigers don't print that much
but it's
money.
Canadian money, so nobody can spend it.
I'll tell you what, the Marlins print money. They are very quietly a decent baseball team. They obviously don't have a winning record, but I'll tell you who prints a lot of money and who's arguably the best team in baseball. I think you'd all agree with me, is the Milwaukee Brewers. Holy smokes, that team is just playing good baseball. They are
playing lights out. They burned me today a little bit. I should have just sucked it up and took them on the run line. I was a little worried about Keller, who'd been very good lately, so I took the Pittsburgh team total under Burke, and that did not work out. So, but the Brewers still get the win. They've now won 12 straight on the heels of an 11-game winning streak. By the way, only one other team has won 11 in a row this season, and Milwaukee's done it twice. So, and they're now stretched out to 8 games ahead of the Cubbies, who were probably the best offense in baseball for at least half the season. And they've the Bears, the Cubs have gone into hibernation, if you'll excuse a pun there. So, very good. Loud, what are you watching right now? Are you starting to bet any baseball, or are you still?
Well, yeah, I actually do. And if you recall, you were the person who hectored me into handicapping baseball.
That's
I believe the conversation was, well, it's going to be a long summer, Loud. And I was, okay. But I don't know that much about baseball, and I've got so much other stuff going on that I'm handicapping horse racing, hockey, other things, that I had to figure out a system that would work for me. And basically, I decided to bet over and under totals based on the weather. And so I had West Coast, Seattle, San Francisco, Oakland Coliseum, and the San Diego Padres were my West Coast teams. And then the Rockies and the Royals and a couple other Midwest type teams. And of course, Rocky Mountains. And if it was a hot day and the wind was blowing the right direction in those ballparks, I took the over. If it was going to be cold or wet or foggy on the coastal parks, I would take the under. And if you recall, Scott, I actually did really well that first season,
right,
betting over and unders based on the weather. And I've got a play that is partially weather, but a lot of other factors. And that is this upcoming homestand with the Colorado Rockies. It's like a meteor shower or an eclipse for sports handicapping when you look at all the things that have to line up. Okay, so weather first. Every one of the games, except one, it's going to be above 90 degrees and 40% humidity. That is home run weather. Every one of the games except 2, the wind is projected to be blowing out of the stadium north-northwest at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Now, take into the account that the Rockies are the worst starting pitching team in the league with an ERA above 6. Their bullpen is the second worst with an ERA of 5.50. They still score 3.71 runs per game, so they don't, they're not totally anemic at scoring. But the Dodgers, who are the back half of the homestand. And by the way, Wes, this is going to be great for your Dodgers. This is how they get right. Because the Diamondbacks come in for 4 games starting tomorrow night. They're the number 4 RBI team in the league, 6th in home runs at almost 5 runs per game. And they're going to beat the heck out of the pitching staff and the relief of the terrible Rockies. And then the Dodgers will come in and smash them again as the number 1 RBI team in the league and number 2 in hitting home runs. So this is like, it's all just lined up. Worst pitching versus some of the best hitting in the number 1 ballpark for scoring in Major League Baseball. Last homestand for the Rockies, the scores of the games were total runs scored 33, 13, 14, 16, 16, 14, and 21. So there you go. Like I said, it's like a eclipse or meteor shower or something for sports betting because all of those factors have lined up. Wes, what do you think the line is going to have to be on the over-under? Are they going to go to 12?
I have seen Colorado Rocket games, maybe you guys have too, up at 14.5 before, and years past, not this year. But, yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, man, these bookmakers don't know what to do. They're kind of trapped because they keep seeing it go over and over, and they want to go up to 13.5. They want to go up to 14.5. But if they do, they're going to see so much dang under money that they're going to be in a compromised position, right? So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I probably think that they would raise the totals a little bit, but they can't raise it too much because it's going to be one of those games where they raise it up to 15 or something, and then just the sharps pound them with under money, and they get crushed because the game finishes like 7-6, right, and doesn't hit 14.5 or whatever. So, but yeah, I love that system. The Rockies, by the way, in the month of August are 9-3 to the over. I did notice, though, on their road, the road trip ended today. They ended in St. Louis. They beat the Cardinals. But they went 3-3. They went 3 overs and 3 unders on the road. Obviously, every single game at home in August has gone over at Coors Field. But they get on the road, all of a sudden it's a 50-50 proposition again, right? So it's obviously a Coors Field trend. But, yeah, I love that system.
Yeah, it's not a huge Rockies offense trend for sure. Steve, do you agree with that Rockies trend, and do you have any other kind of not foolproof, but things that you go to this time of year that you're always looking for when you're making a baseball bet?
Well, I was riding that the Rockies overs when Toronto was in town. Was it a week and a half ago or so? The Blue Jays were covering those totals at points by themselves. And I do agree that Dodgers will probably, I mean, it's in Colorado, so you're not going to really want to take an under, but I'd be a little careful with the Diamondbacks. That offense is just not quite as lethal as it once was. Now they lost a couple of key sticks over there, Suarez and Naylor. They lost them both at the deadline. So you look at that lineup now after Marte and Carroll kind of falls off of a cliff a little bit. You got Perdomo, but he's a nice piece. But when he's batting, you're going to have him bat number 3 and number 4. It's not really an ideal situation. So that D-backs lineup, I feel like, has taken a step back at the trade deadline. But you're not going to catch me taking an under at Coors Field at any point. But even if it creeps up, I would just back off at that point.
So Steve, if you were, say, spreading out a couple of 100 units over, say, the 8 games. So maybe lower unit bets to start, because I think as that 8-game homestand goes on, the pitching is going to get worse and the bullpen will be exhausted. So I would think you would bet more towards the end of the homestand on the Dodgers than at the beginning of the homestand on the Diamondbacks. Or would you just go same units every game?
Yeah, I generally I don't know if I would increase it as the series went on. It would be just a situational game by game, because it also depends on who's on the mound for the Dodgers or the D-backs in that homestand as well. You know what I mean? So I base my how much I'm betting on the game percentage wise on a game to game basis as opposed to like a whole series like you're talking about doing.
Is that the worst pitching staff you've seen in your lifetime, Steve?
It has to be one of them. I mean, they're at a big disadvantage playing half their games at Coors. Some tough competition in that division as well. We just highlighted some of the lineups that they've had to deal with in the NL West. Yeah, it's one of the worst staffs that we've seen in quite some time, though. But it just seems like that's a yearly situation in Colorado.
Yeah, it's a tough place to pitch, man. It really is. I guess they talk about the breaking balls are affected, but the four seamers are really affected as well. They just don't get any movement on their fastballs. They just come in flat and they're able to just club it. So, yeah, very good. Hey, Dave,
they still use the humidor there in Colorado,
Yeah.
where they put the baseballs in that room.
They still use it.
I don't think it's helping that much.
I know they stopped in Arizona. They used to use in Arizona too, and they stopped. But they still use it in Colorado?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Very good. Hey, Mr. Delano, do you have any tricks of the trade that you use when you're betting on MLB this time of year?
I'm kind of like Steve said, I kind of take it day by day with games. It's hard to. I'll look at the games in advance as far as looking at the pitching matchups for the next couple days and see games that I might want to target, but I also have to see what the numbers looking like, and also from each game, like if there's a game that goes in extra innings or a game where the starter gets knocked out early, or you see maybe some top relievers on a team, maybe pitches a couple days in a row. So then maybe a closer won't be available for the last game, or maybe the bullpen's rested. You see a starter go deeper in the game. I mean, those things will kind of affect how I approach games and things like that. But I don't disagree with I agree with what Loud was saying as far as this series. I'm thinking that I'll probably take that over on the first game. If it's 12.5, I'm thinking it'll be about 12.5. I can't see it being higher than that. If it does get higher than that, which I doubt, like if it's in that 13s or something like that, I'd stay away. But I think that for that first opening game, Arizona and Colorado, I'd probably take that 12.5. I mean, Steve's completely right with the Arizona offense, but just the way things have been going in Coors Field, and you've got two, terrible bullpens, and at least for that first matchup, you've got two terrible starters. Rodriguez hasn't been pitching well this year either. But I guess one thing that I do a lot, though, I look at the pitching matchups, how a pitcher is done against a team or in a ballpark historically. And then obviously there's turnover with players, but I like to look at the matchup as far as how the pitchers performed against guys in that particular lineup. Like there may be a guy who his numbers may not be great, but you may look collectively and see, okay, these guys are hitting 143 lifetime against them, or another lineup. The active players on that team may be hitting 320 against them with power. Not saying that that's going to be the be all end all, but factoring, the bullpen along with the recent form, the matchups, the weather, all of those things. But I kind of look at it on a, day by day basis.
Okay. Very good. Wes, what about you? Got any tips and tricks that you use?
Yeah, I think a big deal is bullpens. If you're going to do first fives, if you want to take the bullpens out of it, if you want to keep the bullpens in it, which sometimes works out in your favor, then you handicap the bullpens as well. A very good website for those of you that are listening is called Covers. I'm sure some of you guys use Covers, but Covers has bullpen statistics that you can follow. But, the weather's a big deal. Just like Loud said, I love unders in T-Mobile Park. I love unders in San Fran, where the Giants play. I love unders at Petco. Not so much Dodger Stadium anymore. Dodger Stadium's actually kind of turned into a hitter-friendly park in the last couple of years. But
it's not close enough to the coast.
Yeah.
It's far from the ocean.
Yeah, it's actually elevated a little bit. But, I think you guys kind of touched on everything I look at. The way I break down a baseball game, I look at the two starting pitchers first. I decide if I want first five or full game. I look at the bullpens. I look at the offenses and see how many runs they've been scoring the past 5 games. Are these offenses hot? Are these offenses cold? And you kind of just put it all in a jar and shake it up, and it just kind of comes to you,
Right.
There's some systems and stuff that I follow that I have access to. But it's more of just a feel thing for me. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes a play it comes to you. It just feels right. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, Tom, what kind of advanced analytics do you use when you're handicapping baseball? How far down the analytics rabbit hole do you go?
I don't know.
XERA, barrel percentage.
Sometimes,
Right,
sometimes I do.
There's too much information in baseball.
It's not too much. But yeah, I typically, around this time of season, I like to look at team totals for teams against bad teams. A lot of bad teams are bringing up guys. We're going to have call-ups soon. We're going to see new guys pitching to see who can actually play in the show. So I like to look for guys who, like the Braves tonight have Carrasco on. He's probably going to get wrecked. Braves bullpen is horrible. So I'm looking at the Mets team total to be over to 4.5. It's just, some of these teams look like they've given up. But also on the other spectrum of that, when these bad teams win a game, I like to back them for a little bit because they do go on, they get a little jolt and they go on nice winning streaks. And you get good money on that, the plus money.
Okay, very good. Yeah, we've kind of seen that with the A's. The A's have actually been playing good ball here lately and took 2 of 3 of their latest series. Steve, how far down the advanced metrics and analytics rabbit hole do you go, sir?
Kind of like Wes said, I check it all out, and a lot of times that's a good point that he made too. Is when sometimes you get a pick and you just feel it just feels right. You know what I mean? You got the confidence in it, and it doesn't always go right for you, but there's a little bit of a different feeling when you're not reaching for something. As far as David made a good point too about the bullpen usage. That's something that I really check out every day. I think the site RotoWire has a good spot over there where you can check out, team by team, how much bullpen usage they've had over the past 3 days, the past 5 days. And you can see sometimes when there's a bullpen that's gassed, you can take advantage of that with an over, whether they keep the starter out there too long or, just an example last night, it didn't play out because the Red Sox hit so well against Houston. But, Hader had now he's on the IL today. He had some shoulder discomfort, was unavailable the night before. I see that. I know they're not going to toss him out there the next night. It didn't play out in that situation necessarily, but it's a good thing to keep an eye on is how tired these bullpens are and whatnot like that.
Yeah, that's excellent. I think we saw that come into play a little bit in the Nats-Royals series as the Royals had a lead last night, and most of their main bullpen guys, the A-listers, if you will, had pitched 3 straight games, so they knew they weren't going to be available. So the Royals were still able to hang on and get the win, but they gave up more runs probably than they normally would to the Nationals. So, all right, very good, boys. Well, let's talk about this. Is a week 2 in the NFL as far as this preseason goes. Of course, no Thursday night games this week, but we've got a couple of games on Friday as Tennessee goes to Atlanta, a game that's just oozing with excitement there, and the Chiefs travel to the Great Northwest to take on the Seahawks. Anybody got any feelings on these? Either one of them?
Yeah, I do. I have feelings on 2 games. I'll kind of just roll through my two games that I have thoughts on right now. So I actually like the Falcons here in the spot. Okay, so you're catching about 4.5 or 5. It was funny because the line opened, I think, at Tennessee -3, -3.5. A lot of that is because no Michael Penix and no Kirk Cousins still, right? In fact, at first I thought they were both going to play, but I guess Raheem Morris came out on Monday. He said, nope, they're not going to play. So what does that leave you with? That leaves you with Easton Stick and Emory Jones, who both played really well, actually. Easton Stick, he went 15 of 18 for 149. So, it's not bad and no interceptions. And even Emory Jones, he went 4 of 5 for 49 yards. So both their backup to Kirk Cousins and Michael Penix, they both played pretty well. Cam Ward, he was 5 of 8 for 67 yards. Okay, but they only got 201 total yards, the Titans did. And the Buccaneers, they put up 348. So 348 yards to 201. It's not very good. And you're catching 5 with the Falcons. And Easton Stick played well. I even went back and watched some of his highlights just to see how he looked. And he threw the ball. He had a couple passes that were on target. No Darnell Mooney for the Falcons. He has a shoulder injury, so he's probably not playing. But keep in mind, too, the Falcons, they only played three quarters, right? Because the injury to the Detroit cornerback. So,
right.
Raheem Morris, he's only seen his players play for 3 quarters and not 4. So he's a little bit behind the 8 ball as far as who he needs to cut, who he needs to retain. So I think he's going to have his team play pretty tough. I think they're going to come out and try to win this game. You're catching 5 at home. And Cam Ward, I mean, he did not throw an interception last week. But I don't know. I think he probably throws a pick here. And you're probably going to see him maybe for at least a quarter, if not a half. But 5 points is a lot of points. So I'm going to take the 5 with the Falcons here. Also, too, I like the Raiders. I'm going to take the Raiders minus 4.5 over the Niners. This is a game in which I will be in attendance. I'm going to Allegiant right down the street. So San Fran, they lost to the Broncos last week. They lost 30-9, so they really didn't look good, right? Mac Jones, Carter Bradley, Tanner, Mordecai, they did not throw a touchdown, but every one of them threw an interception. Not very good, right? In fact, they combined for 107 passing yards, so just they did not look good offensively. The Raiders, they tied the Seahawks 23-23. Aiden O'Connell, he threw 2 picks too, so that's not good. He threw for 205 yards and 2 interceptions. But very sloppy quarterback play in particular from both teams. But likely no Brock Purdy here. But I did hear this website I follow called Fantasy Pros. Geno Smith is expected to play quite a bit, according to one website. I don't know who. Maybe that'll change. But I like Vegas. I mean, the Niners, their defense looked terrible. Their offense looked terrible. No Brock Purdy. They obviously still don't care. Pete Carroll, it probably wants to get Geno some work. So just based on all that information, I think the Raiders probably cover here.
Okay, very good, very good. Steve, do you have anything you're looking at here in week 2? I know that we talked before the show, and you said you don't spend a lot of time on the preseason. You prefer the regular season and down the stretch baseball here. But do you have anything that you're looking at this weekend in the week 2 preseason schedule?
I do. I mean, I do pay attention, obviously, to the preseason. I just don't bet it a ton, like officially, but I do a lot of scouting and stuff like that. I do a lot of article writing for NFL Futures and stuff like that. Wes kind of stole my thunder with the Falcons and the points here. I just see this too as an ugly game where I take the team, low-scoring game, probably take the team with the points. Both teams lost in week 1. Tennessee, not very pretty, 29-7 against Tampa Bay. They have a weak offensive line over there. Like he said, no Penix or Cousins, but Easton Stick performed well, 15 for 18, $149 and a touchdown. It's worth noting, I guess, that Raheem Morris is 0-4 against the number in the preseason so far. But I don't know how much you can take out of that. It just might be his time to actually cover a number here in this one. So yeah, I would take the Falcons and the points, and then anytime I'm looking at the preseason, I'm looking at the Ravens, and you can get them this weekend in Dallas. I don't have a problem laying the 1.5, but generally when it's a low spread like that, I'll just take the money line minus 125, minus 130. Harbaugh is just insane in the preseason, 44-17 straight up. He had that 24-game winning streak at one point. We know Prescott isn't going to play for the Cowboys. And CeeDee Lamb, I don't think he played in the first game either. So I see this as a spot on a short number. Take the Ravens here in a preseason game where they're just dominant in the preseason. So,
I have a question. So Steve brought up a really good point. This is a question actually I want to ask every one of you. So with football betting, do you guys ever lay 1 or lay 2? Or do you just take the money line, lay the minus 120, minus 130? Because I always do that. Obviously it could come down to 1 point. Maybe you push or whatever. But my line of thinking is I'm laying 130 in baseball all the time and hockey all the time. So why am I not going to do it in the NFL too? You know what I mean? So Also, too, on the other side, if I'm getting a point, if I'm getting +1 or +1.5, I usually just money line the dog and get a +105. or plus 110 at that point.
Yeah, I've broke the math down on that before. Anytime in the NFL where you're taking the dog and it's 3 points or less, you should automatically play the money line. It's the math on it isn't even close. So it's if you're don't ever take 2 points, 1 point, and everybody's going to be able to point to some anecdote like, well, I remember they won by 2 points, and if I didn't take them, I'd have gotten burnt. Yeah, it's going to happen. It's absolutely going to happen. But the money and the math says you are far better off taking that plus 125, plus 120 instead of the 2.5 points. So yeah, that's a great point, Wes.
Yeah, I'm with Wes too. Like he said, in the MLB, you take a minus 125, minus 130 money line without even blinking, right? You know what I mean? So especially if it's the plus money where you can get the plus money instead of taking the point and a half. Once it gets to 2.5, something like that, sometimes I might even add the half point to get the field goal or to hook under that number, under that 3. But that's the key number for me there. Is if it's minus 1.5, minus 2, I'm generally taking the money line as well on either side, whether it be the favorite or the dog.
I agree. And the rest of you guys, you guys play that way as well?
I'll take a favorite at minus 2.5 on football, but yeah, the 2, the 1.5, I don't like to do. There's so many games, and even in basketball, man, there's so many games that fall on that 1 or that 2. And I know we're talking about football now, but there's so many games where it's a 5-point game or a 4-point game, and the team will come down and kind of hit a uncontested 3 or something to cut it to that 1 or 2 points. It to me at least, it feels like that happens a lot when I would take that minus 2 or minus 1.5. So if it's 2, minus 2, 1.5, I'll take the money line. Yeah.
Okay, Tommy.
Yep, short favorites. I'm usually going with the money line. With dogs, I always back up my spread bet with the money line bet. So I'll put a quarter unit on the money line. The rest goes on the spread. So you hit the dog as long as it's offered. You could get a nice payout there.
Okay, very good.
Hey, Tom, how high of a spread does that go up to for you? Like +7. So if you got a +7,
I'll back it up with everything as long as it's offered by the book. I mean, when
even a +14, so you'll take the +14 spread.
Yeah, I mean, if we have a +27 in college football and they're going to give me a money line, I'll put a quarter unit on it.
There's an old axiom in Vegas that says you should never bet on an underdog that you don't think can actually win outright.
Correct.
Take that for what it's worth. But
well, in college football, actually, it's among the major sports, at least the major sports that I bet, it's the least often that the underdog wins. It's only about 25% of the time in college football. In the NFL, the underdog wins about 30% of the time. In hockey, NHL, it's 40%. And in baseball, it's 44% of the time the team that is the underdog actually wins. So that's your sport. Besides horse racing, where the favorites only win 28 to 30% of the time on average, your best major sport for betting underdogs is baseball.
Yeah. I agree with that. There's just a lot of variables and a lot of moving parts, and it's one of those things where sometimes the whole game comes down to 2 or 3 different at bats, and in pressure situations and what happens with that outcome for sure. Steve, as far as college basketball or college football goes, I know you're a New England guy. Are you a Patriots guy as well?
Of course, yeah.
Sure. Well, okay. First of all, what's the Patriots record going to be this year?
9-8.
Okay.
Yeah,
we'll get over the hump and get to a winning record this year, hopefully.
So winning record, but no playoffs, probably.
They're going to be an over team.
Yeah, they might.
It's overs. Their defense.
Yeah, they might. Yeah, they probably don't sneak in there this year, but obviously a lot better than they were last season.
All right, very good. What are you looking at as far as college football goes, Steve? Who you on this year? Who do you think is going to surprise everybody?
I don't do a ton of college football stuff, to be honest with you. I when the season gets going, I get more into it a little bit of first month of the year, and I generally will do like a team total of the week in college football, but I'm much more locked in on the NFL during the football season personally.
All right, very solid. Let me ask you, Loud. Give me one team that's going to overperform, one team that's going to underperform in college football this year.
LSU is going to underperform. Just because
you stole mine.
Yeah,
I'm on that too.
LSU is going to underperform. It's Brian Kelly, and I just don't think he's a good fit in LSU. I mean, I'm sorry, and I'm a Notre Dame fan. Obviously we were sorry to see him go, but now I'm glad he left. So LSU is going to underperform. Overperform, man. I'm gonna pass. Who's got an overperformer?
Bowling Green.
Yeah.
Eddie George.
Eddie George, baby. Eddie George, 2-7. That's what I'm talking about. David, give us one under and one over performer this year in college football.
Man, I've had to go back and look. As far as I'm not going to go too into depth, but I think that Duke is going to overperform at about 6.5 over team total, win total at 6.5. I think everyone's on the Texas train, but I think that Alabama right now, last time I checked, they're about plus 700 to win the SEC, I believe, about third best odds. I think that this could be a year that, for the plus 700, Alabama is worth taking a shot at there. California Golden Bears, I think their team total was 5.5. I think that's going to be one of the I think that their program's got a lot of turnover. Team that a lot of people aren't talking about. I think looking at their team, their win total under. So I like Duke to overperform. I think Alabama, this could be a good time to catch Alabama where people are sleeping on them. And I think that California is also a team to look at the win total under on.
All right. Wes, besides LSU, give us an under and an over performer.
Well, yeah, I do think LSU is not going to be as good as advertised. Brian Kelly, yeah. I just keep remembering when he did the whole rally in that gym, and he all of a sudden the guys from Connecticut, and all of a sudden he had a Southern accent down there in LSU,
and it was bad.
And my family.
Elbow there in Connecticut.
Anyway, I like Alabama too. I think I think the lights were very bright for Kalen DeBoer last year, and Ty Simpson, their new quarterback. He's actually a pretty good quarterback. So I like Alabama to do well. UCLA, I'm hearing Nico Iamaleava, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly. I hear he's doing really, really well in practice and kind of turning some heads. So UCLA could probably do well. I think as far as other underperformers, I don't know. Texas, there's a lot of hype on Texas and Arch Manning. I actually did a video, and I did release Arch Manning to win the Heisman, which you can get, I think it's like plus 700 or something. The only reason I released that is it's got value because of the Manning name, right? If they do well, if they do get to, through the playoffs, I think their over-under was 10.5 wins, but he's a Manning. So if, it gets to the voters and everything, and there's a Manning involved, I just kind of think it's a good value play for him to get the Heisman. But it's a lot of pressure on Texas, man. I don't know if they're going to get to that 10.5, but I probably think that maybe Texas falls a little bit short. The SEC's tough, man. It's tough on Saturdays.
I was breaking down the service academies because I love service academy football. And
you're the one.
Yeah, I got a lot of family members in the military. My nephew's a major in the Army, and I've got family in the Navy and the Air Force as well. And so it just runs in the family, service academy football, go Army, beat Navy. But interesting thing, when you're speaking of overperformers, the service academies do great as big underdogs against Power 5 teams, especially. Since 1995, Army, Navy, and Air Force are combined 41-11-1 against the spread when facing opponents favored by 21.5 points or more. So if you see a service academy as like a 21 plus dog, go ahead and take them because they just cover against those big spreads.
Yeah, K-State has a game coming up against Army. It's one of their 2 non-com games this year. And I think the last time I saw that spread, it was like 15.5. And I like Army there. Those offenses, if you don't play them, you don't play against those offenses, man, they will jump up and bite you. I'm not sure Army will win outright. I think K-State's going to have their hands full.
Yeah, I have a capper friend that he has a system. It's just an auto play every week. It's Army. It's Army in particular. It's Army first half against the spread, in which they're usually a dog. But to your point, Scott, it just takes them a little while to figure out that wishbone or whatever you want to call it, the option.
Triple option.
Yes, the triple option. And he said going back, I don't know about this last year, but he went through like a 2 or 3 year stretch where the Army first half was covering like 75% of the time. So,
another interesting, it cuts the other way for the service academies too, because as of 2024, in the last 20 years, as double-digit favorites, they're 75, 90, and 3. So they don't cover very well when they're big favorites, and they cover very well when they are big dogs. However, last year the trend was 6-1 against the spread when they were double-digit favorites or higher among all of the service academies. So a little bit of an anomaly last year. Also, a lot of especially Army games last year played to the over, which is anti-trend for the service academies as well. Army, I made a lot of money betting on Army going over totals last year.
Yep. Very good.
Since you're talking about Army, I know you mentioned K-State, and I was talking about Army. I mean, we're looking ahead a bit here, but that September 6th, that Kansas State Army game, that's actually Army's kind of catching them in a good spot because we were talking about that game in Ireland. Kansas State plays was at Iowa State to start the season in Ireland.
Yep.
And then they have their home opener the next week. Then they play Army, and then they have their conference opener the following week. So that definitely could be a prime letdown spot.
Yeah,
right,
I will probably be at that Army game. I've never seen Army in person, and I will probably go see that. I think it's going to be it may be a sad trip home, and I hope not. But we'll see what happens there. All right, let's wrap it up. Hey, Tommy, give us a underperformer and an overperformer in college football this year. Haven't heard from you.
Overperformer. I like Alabama too, like these guys. I do like Nebraska, Matt Rule, year 3. They're bringing it back a lot of guys. I think their schedule is favorable. Another team I really like is Baylor out of the Big 12. I just think they're undervalued here. I think Wisconsin's going to fall back. They're a team I'm not big on. Washington, Oregon. I think the Big Ten is going to be top heavy. These other teams are.
Okay, very good, very good. And that's we haven't heard a lot about the Big Ten, so that's good to get your thoughts on that. All right, very good, guys. Anybody else have anything before we get out of here?
Death, taxes, and the Rockies over.
Death, taxes, and the Rockies over. Hell, they got there today and they weren't even at home.
You guys are talking about Texas and Alabama. I think that I know nobody really wants to go over or go under on the team total with Ohio State, but I mean, this regular season total 10.5 wins. Obviously, that means that they have to go at least 11-1 if you take the over. I mean, opening the season against Texas, but the thing is, Ohio State, we don't know exactly who their quarterback's going to be. Still got to play Penn State. Michigan game's always tough. Go to Washington on the road and go to Illinois on the road. I would have said Illinois could be a team that could overperform, but I think that the market is starting to love Illinois quite a bit. Now their team total's at 8.5, so I don't know I want to go that high. But point being, Ohio State plays at Illinois. With the days of the transfer portal, I mean, Penn State, Illinois, 2 teams with a lot of returning production coming back. I wouldn't be surprised if Ohio State loses 2 regular season games. So I think that 10.5, I'd be leaning on the under there. I know people don't want to do it, but I'd be leaning on under 10.5.
Yeah, they lost a few of them last year too. At 10.5 numbers, it's tough to take an over on that.
It really
no
is.
room for error, especially playing Texas first games.
Right. Absolutely. Steve, any final thoughts before we get out of here?
I mean, I had a quick NFL future I could share with you guys if you guys will.
Let's do it.
It's a player prop, Geno Smith, to go over 3,575.5 passing yards. He's went over the last 3 seasons in Seattle. He'll be in a familiar situation with Pete Carroll as the head coach. Chip Kelly is offensive coordinator, going to bring in more of a little bit of pass-heavy attack, I feel like. And then he's got some good weapons over there, Brock Bowers, Jacoby Myers, Genty, the rookie. And the key to this one to me, too, is Smith really performs well when he plays indoors. And this year he's going to have 12 of 17 games indoors. He actually led the NFL in completion percentage in 2023 when he played indoors. He's just put up consistently great numbers when he's avoided the weather. And on top of that, 2 of the outdoor games come in the early season in the first 3 weeks of the year against Washington and New England. Also a division over there where he'll have to throw to keep up with the Chiefs, the Chargers, the Broncos. So if Smith stays healthy, it's always the key to these player prop overs where you can kind of find some good value taking some unders on guys if you can project for an injury or something like that. But Geno Smith.
All you've got to do, Steve, is just find out who I picked first in fantasy football. And
he's going down.
Fade him.
Yeah.
Every year, no matter. That's why I'm always, tempted to take Patrick Mahomes, but haven't done it yet. Another reason I will back your Geno Smith play for an entirely different reason. The Raiders cornerback situation is the worst in the NFL. They are going to get torched. They're going to be playing from behind constantly, which means he's going to get a lot of junk time yards. Their back end of their defense is horrible.
I like that play too, and I'm glad actually you pointed out another point with Ohio State. Chip Kelly is no longer their offensive coordinator. They got Brian Hartline. People are high on him, but still first time in that role. So I like your play there with Geno Smith, and it also even adds another point on to maybe like that team total under for Ohio State there with Chip Kelly.
I think Ashton Genty learned a valuable lesson in his first game about there's a big difference between the NFL and the Mountain West.
Yeah.
A lot of those spin moves where he'd busted outside and he used to getting around the corner. He's got 3 guys waiting for him in the NFL. I think he had four carries for 2 yards or something like that.
Yep.
It was not a great
Because
night.
the Raiders' offensive line stinks too.
Now that's certainly possible as well. So, all right.
I don't know where any of this Raiders hype is coming from. They stink. I mean they're awful.
Well, and they play in arguably the best division in football, with at least with the
I don't think they can beat Denver. I don't think they can beat Kansas City. I don't think they can beat the Chargers. I just don't.
No, they'll sneak out one victory in those 6 games. But yeah,
In that case, I hope it's the Chiefs.
I know you do, buddy. I know you do. I don't know. Which is I think sometimes you just hate on the Chiefs just to be a dick because I'm here.
Well, there is actually a lot of truth to that, Scott. I just like to irritate you.
That's fair. Steve Seagraves, where can we find you, my brother?
Over at Sports Memo. I'm over at Sports Memo. You can check out my plays over there. Posting them every day. MLB, WNBA. We've got NFL and college football right around the corner.
And socials, I'm assuming that the cry on there in front of you is Steve Book 22 is going to be your handle on all socials. All right.
Yeah, that's over at X.
Excellent. I appreciate you coming in, especially on such short notice. Appreciate all the guys being here, and appreciate most of all everybody that tuned in, everybody that watched us live.
Before we get out, Scott, just as long as we're on the WNBA, Steve, do you have any plays on color of sex toy?
I've heard a lot of talk about that, but I haven't. No officials released on that yet for me.
I believe they put up nets in all of the stadiums. Is that correct?
Nah, I don't think that's true. I think that was fake news. But it's kind of like the Gatorade bath. You know, you never know. They probably won't let you get down any more than $50 on that bet. Of course, your favorite's going to be neon green, right?
Well, neon green is the whole point. That's the whole point of the thing.
No, it's the fact that it's the lemon lime flavor.
All right. And on that note, don't forget to stop by and check out hitthepick.com. Football season's coming up here, and we're here for it. We are ready to dominate college. We're ready to dominate the pros. Hell, I think I'm 5-1 in my preseason picks so far. So hitting the ground running.
It.
What?
Stop it.
What?
I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
By the way, real quick, on the way out, the overs were 14-2.
Yep.
In the first week of preseason. So keep that in mind.
Yep.
And it played very heavily to the underdogs. In fact, not even just on the not even just underdogs covering, but underdogs outright winning.
Yep. Absolutely. So keep those trends in mind as you make your bets. And the last thing to remember, Andy Reid always lies in the preseason. I told you guys this last week when Andy Reid said that Patrick Mahomes was going to play the entire first quarter. I said that is not true. He will not. Patrick Mahomes played 3 plays. He was 1 for 1 for 1 yard and a touchdown, and that was it. So, don't believe it's Andy's one. It's his one sin because he's a Mormon. He's a clean liver. He doesn't cuss. He doesn't drink. He doesn't smoke. But he lies like a motherfucker in the preseason. So
he's really Mormon.
What's that?
Andy Reid's really Mormon.
Yeah, he's really Mormon.
You know, I once went to Salt Lake City and I bought a shirt that I wore it for years that said, "Salt Lake City, a small little drinking town with a Mormon problem."
Nice.
Very nice.
Very good.
By the way, we don't say Mormon anymore. It's Latter-day Saints.
Okay.
Isn't there a TV show called like Real Mormon Housewives or something?
Yeah, I watched it.
On right
I actually watched it. Believe it or not, I don't watch shows like that. I don't. But my buddy and I were super bored one night. There was no sports on, and I was like, I heard about the secret lives of Mormon wives, and we binged the whole first season. And let me tell you something: I've never, not that there's anything wrong with it, but I've never felt more homosexual in my life.
Okay, so the best show about Mormon wives is Big Love. So if you're gonna watch the series, that's the one.
Well, and I think that's a cautionary tale about smoking weed right there, folks.
There you go.
Lay off the wacky tobacco. You find yourself binging a whole season of The Secret Life of Mormon Wives in one night.
Oh, was that night?
Season 2 just came out, but I don't know if I'm going to go back down the rabbit hole.
All right. Well, if you see Wes at the dispensary, you know he's going to be locked into season 2 of Mormon.
Yeah, I'm going to go catch up on Hard Knocks. So.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, that's right. It dropped last night. I haven't seen the new one. Yeah. Very good.
All right. Too. Also,
that's a great quarterback to follow on that team.
Yeah. Also too, on YouTube, if you go to Circa's YouTube, they have the new season from last year of Circa Survivor. They do a documentary. It's 10 episodes long. They're all out as of today. It's a great watch. The Circa Survivor documentary.
All right.
Okay. Very good. All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. Steve, a special thanks for being here. Appreciate it, as always, to the rest of you. David, Snipe, Tom, and, of course, the one and only Loud Esmond. Thanks very much for joining us, guys. And thanks to everybody else. We do this every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central Time. The Hit the Pick Founders Show, brought to you by hitthepick.com. Get over there, grab some picks, and get ready to hit the pick. You guys have a great weekend. Let's go make some money. And we'll